I need to take a video of that, look. Shaun. Morning from Brazil, Vitoria, Espirito Santo. It is early in the morning today. I'm up early. Post-carnival blues, post-carnival repenting. Post-carnival repenting. I'm going to meet my gringo friend, American friend, and we're going to go do some stand-up paddling here on the beach this morning. My last few days here in Brazil. I've ever been underneath this bridge before.
To hear me out one time, you got to be yourself. Cause if you ain't yourself, you end up by your friggin' self.
Shaun, Shaun Vlogs.
Bom? Prazer.
Prazer, eu vejo você lá no Instagram.
Legal.
Sigo desde, já tem um tempo, já vejo os vídeos. Eu sou daqui, moro na Praia do Morro.
Legal. Alright, so I'm going home now, but before I do, I'm going to go and meet Tekka at the tattoo studio. Just getting a tattoo done with Felipe, our tattoo guy, who does all of our tattoos from 027 Tattoo Studio here in Jardim da Penha.
Brasil e outro lado seria schols.
Tekka's tattoo was on her belly, which apparently is one of the worst places to do it because you got really thin skin there. Did it hurt?
Yes, I do not recommend.
But you're happy you did it?
Yeah.
Alright guys, my last couple of days here in Brazil, the whole trip is coming to an end and I'm really sad about it actually. I know that going home to Scotland is a good thing. I love Scotland, I miss my family and my animals, my pets and all the kind of things about home, but you know what, Brazil is also my home. I have two homes, I am perpetually split. My heart is perpetually split. I love Brazil, like I keep coming here, I've got it tattooed on my chest for goodness sake, look. Look at that. Brazil, Scotland. Like, this is my home, I love it here, my wife is from here, loads of family, great friends from here, I have such a great time. Lots of people ask me about why I come here and what I do here, and like, literally, it is my second home, like, I consider it as such. I live here probably at least 4 months of every year, I would say, on average. I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the things of living here, because there's a lot of people who are considering moving here because maybe they're in a relationship, or they are thinking of coming here on a long trip, or they're thinking of even doing one of those intercambio things where basically students leave their university in America or Europe or wherever and come to study in Brazil for 6 months and are interested about the country. And like the very most common question I get about Brazil is what are the best and worst things about the country. So I put together a little list, the pros and cons, very simplistic, but there's some important things in there that I think would be valuable for you guys if you're interested to come into Brazil to actually know more about. And guys, I have formed these opinions on Brazil over the space of like 10 years. I've been coming here for that long. I know a lot about the country. I'm deeply involved in social things, political things, financial things here in Brazil. I've got a business here. So I do understand quite a lot about the country before anybody jumps to any conclusions about my knowledge of Brazil. Let me share with you some of my thoughts, right? I've got 5 on each side, pros and cons. It's a simplistic way to do it, but it works well for this type of video. You know what, I'm gonna go like this. 1 pro, 1 con, 1 pro, 1 con, 5 on each side. First pro, the food. This seems like a really cliche thing, but guys, listen, the food here in Brazil is so different from anything else you will eat in the world, whether you are from Europe, whether you are from North America, whether you're from Asia, whether you're from, I don't know, wherever you're from in the world, it is different here. The food here is excellent, amazing, and there's something for everybody. Whether you're an out-and-out carnivore, the barbecue meat here is sensational. Whether you're a fish food eater, the fish food here is incredible. I love moqueca here, Brazilian seafood. Or even vegans, like I was surprised. My brother's a vegan and he came to Brazil last year. And I was surprised at just how well he got on with the food here in Brazil. So, doesn't matter what your tastes are. My favourite food in the world is Brazilian. Okay, first con on the list is it is expensive. A lot of people do not realise this because essentially Brazil is a developing country still. So most developing countries around the world tend to be quite cheap. Brazil is not. Of course there are variations depending on currency swings, the dollar value to the real. But in general, Brazil is quite expensive. That is definitely a bad thing about Brazil. It's not so bad if you're just visiting for a couple of weeks holiday, although hotels are always expensive. But if you live here for any prolonged periods of time, and if you ever consider staying here and earning money in the local currency in reals, it is an expensive place. It is such a hard country to be poor in, and yet people make the best of it no matter what. And the thing is as well, like, inflation is sending things up more expensive year by year and by quite a lot. Another pro, and this is quite subjective, and it very much depends where in Brazil you are. But for me, the landscape, the Brazilian landscape, is one of the most spectacular things, forces of nature I have ever seen in my life. Whether you're into the beach, here in Vitoria where I am is a beach city, there's so many amazing, beautiful beach places. I absolutely love that. Whether you're into inland farm type stuff, there is amazing inland countryside here in Brazil. Whether you are into mountains, there's so many awesome mountain ranges here in Brazil. Nature in terms of rainforests, the rainforests are absolutely spectacular and everybody should go and experience them at some time in your life. And the cities, like Rio de Janeiro, is built around a rainforest with high mountains and beautiful beaches all in a one. I mean, can you think of a better, more beautiful setting in the world than Rio de Janeiro? I can't. It's amazing. Back onto the cons. Brazilian cities in particular are very chaotic, unorganized and very busy. The problem is the big cities, especially Rio, São Paulo, even here in Vitoria, it's not the biggest of cities, but it still has these problems. The streets aren't organised as well as they could be, and that affects things in terms of movements of people around the cities. And people who live in São Paulo will know all about this much better than I will, and even Rio. Driving at rush hour is an absolute nightmare. If you're coming here for a holiday, be prepared. Okay, third pro for me is definitely, and probably one of the best things about Brazil in my opinion, number one spot, is Brazilian people. Brazilian people are amazing, amazing, warm, friendly, welcoming people. They love people coming from other countries to visit them. They will look after you, they will give you a good time, and generally speaking, Brazilians welcome most people into their hearts and in their homes. I just feel so comfortable around Brazilian people. I think, as a Scottish person in particular, I feel that we have got a lot of similarities with Brazilian people. We're very open, we're very warm, friendly. Brazilians will not shy away from telling you how they feel. They're very affectionate. Brazilians are just very warm people to be around. Back onto the cons, and this one is really unfortunate, but it is a truth, and everybody knows it's a truth, and everybody should be aware who's coming here, and that is the violence. Violence and security in Brazil is a massive problem. This very much depends on where you are in Brazil as well, because there are some places that are a lot worse than others. Rio de Janeiro, for example, is a very dangerous city. It can be. Of course, it's one of the most famous tourist hotspots in the world as well. So, like, don't stop going there. Please go there and check it out for yourselves. But just, you have to be aware of your surroundings, where you are. Don't go off the beaten path. Do not just do silly things like carry big cameras or phones around in neighborhoods that you shouldn't. I tend to follow a rule is that the more people around you, the better. So especially if you can find Brazilians that you can talk to and go out with them, it's better. But if you're on the streets walking, it's better to walk in places where there are more people. For me, like here in Vitoria, I feel really comfortable and safe because the streets here are quite busy and lots of people walking around all the time. But I like walking at the beach and cycling at the beach at night time in the evening because there's a lot of people doing that at that time, and I feel really safe just because there's lots of people going out to the beach at the same time to have fun. But security is a problem here. There are a lot of instances of violence and theft and robbery, so you need to be aware of that. Another pro here for me is definitely the culture, and what I'm talking about when I talk about Brazilian culture is the variation of cultures, because there's so many different places in Brazil, the northeast up to the Amazon, down to where I am in the southeast, and right down to the south of Brazil. They're also varied and have different unique aspects, but generally Brazilian culture is a very warm, fun-loving type of environment. No matter where you are in Brazil, you're always going to have fun, you're going to enjoy it because the people are just, as I say, they're just fun-loving, and that is definitely one of the main attractions of Brazil for me is the culture here. You will enjoy it a lot. I've had so much fun here just because of all the people I've met. Back onto the cons, and one of the biggest things as well, apart from violence, is government corruption. And you might think to yourself, that is not going to affect you, right? Especially someone who's come here for a short time, but actually it will. Because the problem with Brazilian government corruption and bureaucracy especially is it filters down from the top all the way through society. So the more corrupt you tend to find the politicians are at any particular time, you'll find the society is filtered down. That stems into corruption, I believe. I think there's a lot of intertwinedness there going on. You might not see that at first, but after you've been here for a while, you'll realise the bureaucracy is in place as a kind of cloak over a lot of other issues in terms of political corruptness. This corruption does flow from the top down. And number 5 on the list of pros, and this one, it might seem simplistic, but it's important, the weather. The weather here is incredible. I love it personally. The tropical heat does me a world of good. And by the way, as somebody who suffers from psoriasis, a skin condition, my skin here in Brazil is a million times better than it would be in Scotland, simply for getting so much vitamin D here. The sunshine is amazing. Even in the winter here, the temperature doesn't drop much below 16 degrees Celsius, but it stays a pretty constant 25, 30 degrees here where I am in Vitoria. I guess one thing to say to that is Brazil is very big, and the further north you go, the hotter it gets, and the further south you go, the colder it gets. So in the deep south of Brazil, for example, it snows in winter. That's something to bear in mind. Brazil is so huge in terms of how long it is up and down, north and south, that there are big differences in temperatures, but overall Brazil is a tropical country. And my final con actually is also the weather. So although the weather is a good thing, it can also be a bad thing, depending on what you like and don't like. The summer here in Brazil can be absolutely, unbelievably sweltering hot. Like, the last few weeks we've struggled at home. I mean, it's not so bad when you're out and about walking on the beach or on the street or whatever, but when you're at home, generally speaking, you need to have the air conditioning on, which is expensive in terms of electricity and stuff. So yeah, Brazil, the heat can get to you. And also, you can get these big tropical storms, like rainstorms, and when they come, they are absolutely epic. They will shut the whole place down in terms of the rain and water and stuff. So the weather, it can also be a problem. I know there's a lot of people, Brazilians included, who do not like Brazilian weather. They say it's too hot. I love it. It really is down to your own personal opinion and what do you like. Do you like hot weather or not? And remember this, guys, as well, the water here on the beaches, if you're on a beach town, the water here is generally quite cold. So if you ever get too hot here, just go for a dip. Anyway, guys, that was it. I just wanted to talk to you about that. Brazil is amazing. I love it here. Some pros and cons for all the people that have asked me that question. Alright, so we're just leaving home. Going to get a hamburger with our friends. Going to be walking in the street with my iPhone. Pretty safe, I would say. I mean, like, when I say that, I should always say that it's possible to get robbed here at any point, anywhere. But it's unlikely. Tell you what as well, I'm pretty glad to be getting out of the house right now because it is so hot, sweating like hell. I've just been for a shower, another shower. That's 3 showers today. A lot more. I like the dog picture. I need to take a video of that, look. Shaun. Yeah. Muito obrigado pelo hambúrguer. Muito obrigado. The guy who owns that burger place knows me and watches my vlogs. That was a bit weird, but cool as well. Nice burgers. Anyway, we're going back home now. Almost home. It was nice. I enjoyed it. I got to see our friends, Naila and Dudu, who were in Portugal with us. I don't know if you remember the Portugal vlog series, but it was good. This is the last. We're counting down to the last 2 nights. 2 nights more here in Brazil before I go back home to Scotland, and I'm starting to feel really mixed, like happy to go home but sad because I'm really enjoying it here. That was today. Stand-up paddle, burgers, and security discussions.